Corporal Margaret Anthony with the Toronto Scottish Regiment. It is so great to have you aboard here, Margaret Anthony. Thanks for joining us. I wonder where your head is, where your heart is on this Remembrance Day morning.
Morning, Nick. Thanks for having me. It's been a really difficult day to remember all my comrades over the past 17 years who I've served with. And in addition to that, we come together and wear the poppy so we can remember those who've served before us. So the Great War ended, World War II, and those who've served who are no longer here with us. For example, in the regiment, we lost a couple of our soldiers, Mark Wilson and Will Furtis, and even people here in the community who grew up and lived here in Toronto. So it's a really important day to honor those people who served and their memory. So I'll be out today at Old City Hall to celebrate and remember those who I've served with. I sent a couple pictures off to share. I don't know if you have those, but it's important to me to remember, for example, Betty Mobili, who served as a medic alongside with me in Afghanistan, who's no longer here. She passed in 2017. And, these are the faces now of the veterans who have served in war, who have, decided to fight for our country. And even though they're not here with us today, we'll remember them.
And Margaret, it's so important because I think, so much of Remembrance Day, we were reflecting on this earlier in the program. We were talking about, World War I, World War II. We all remember, those are in the history books, but it's the recent history. It's the Afghanistan, war, the veterans like yourselves who fought in Afghanistan for Canada, more than 158 Canadians, of course, dying over there. I wonder when you think back, those pictures you shared, those are very special pictures. I'm assuming you must also be going back to some of the awful ramp ceremonies that you probably took part in while you were in Afghanistan. I wonder if you can help give our viewers a sense of the emotion that's felt when you're literally on the battlefield saying goodbye to your comrades.
That's just it. You think you live forever and you're young and you serve and you do your duty, but it's a horrible feeling knowing to lose your comrades, no matter whether in war or just serving in general. I'm a reservist. I work with the Toronto Scottish Regiment, and everyone was deeply moved when we lost our fellow comrades. And so this is a time to reflect and remember those who've passed and those who are no longer with us. They paid the ultimate sacrifice for serving for our country in Afghanistan, and it was a recent war. And I'm sure many of us have a lot of emotions that are going through and feelings about what's happening at the current moment. But it's really a time to reflect on those who aren't with us and made the sacrifices they did, so this way we can be free today.
And what's it like to be a reservist? That means you have a life outside of the military. You have another job. You go about your day-to-day lives, but you're a reservist. That means you commit some time, of course, to sort of maintaining your training and your commitment to the military as well. Can you talk a little bit about that balance in your life and how you manage that? Because that's something so different. It's an anathema to so many people, really.
It's a commitment, right? And it's really the team and the people that make it amazing. And that's why you keep coming out, because we're like a giant family. So for many of us, it's very hard because if you have families and kids, you have to have a support network. And that support network is, your wife or your husband and your family. And because of those people that we're able to go away for Operation Laser, that was the Canadian Armed Forces response to COVID-19 last year. And, many of these people don't get to be with their children. So it's a hard sacrifice for a lot of those mothers and fathers who can't be around for 4 months to a year, depending on what their deployment is. Yeah. So it is a balance. It is hard, and it does put stress on the family. But everybody is very much a positive support in those social circles, and there is support for those people who need it.
Yeah, there's so much support that's necessary. And listen, thank you so much for your time, Master Corporal Margaret Anthony. We really appreciate your sacrifice, your commitment to the country, and of course your dedication here. And thanks for sharing some of those memories and those pictures as well here on CP24 Breakfast. Do appreciate this. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Nick.